Hey, what's up, guys? So we finally made it over to one of the westernmost beaches in the continental United States. And one of the particular reasons why I want to come to this particular section is because they have this one area known as the Tree of Life. And if you haven't seen those pictures on Google, it's a really magnificently, I guess, unique tree structure where it's between two rocks with a tree growing in the middle. Really beautiful if you come by during, I believe, the sunset, I guess, right? So really beautiful sunsets here. Well, it's not that they actually have sandy beaches because, you know, Seattle sand's not very comfortable. But yeah, we're gonna come here and take a picture of the Tree of Life, and we're gonna start making our way up towards Beach 4. Because according to this little one right here, they have a really cool area where we can see some tide pools. So hopefully the tide's not too high and we can go ahead and see some unique tide pools at Beach 4. So a really cool experience to check out the tide pools. So if you guys are interested in looking at some tide pools, go ahead and park at Beach 4, and the parking is basically free for day use only. But make sure, one thing you want to do, make sure is that if you guys do plan on coming here, that you want to check the tide. They do actually have a sign in the front that says, you know, where the tide level is going to be depending on what time it's going to be. But you get a chance to really see some like anemones, anemones, and if you're lucky enough, you get to see some starfishes. Luckily for us, we were able to see about 2 or 3 different starfishes, and I highly recommend, if you see the rock behind me, make sure you guys climb on top of that rock, and you get a really beautiful vantage point of just the whole Pacific Ocean. Like, if you think about it, we are at the westernmost, probably not necessarily the most westernmost part, but we are at the western tip of the continental United States. I mean, this is really cool. We're at the edge of the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, make sure you spend some time here and just really enjoy the tide pools, because it was really fun to bring that experience of like being like a kid again. If you guys remember back in like 2nd grade, 3rd grade, going to like an aquarium and going to like an artificial tide pool and seeing some anemones, sea stars, you know, maybe some crustaceans, things like that. Not really too sure what exactly is in tide pools anymore, but really fun experience to bring back that childhood experience, you know. So after spending about an hour over at Beach 4 taking a look at some of the tide pools, we want to initially make our way over towards the whole rainforest. We started making our way up towards the drive towards the rainforest, but unfortunately, as we got closer to the visitor center, what ended up happening was we saw a sign that basically said that if your car is at this location, expect to wait about an hour. And basically they had signs posted saying that, you know, because of the fact that the whole rainforest parking lot is very small, what essentially has to happen is that as people leave, you take their spot. You know, someone else leaves, you take their spot. So you're essentially waiting in line. We didn't really want to wait for another hour to basically go ahead and take a look at the whole rainforest. Although I have gone about 6 or 7 years ago. It's a really beautiful, like luscious green, like rainforest, and it's basically a very temperate rainforest. So if you guys ever have a chance to take a look at the whole rainforest, go ahead and make a destination to that spot. But we decided to go ahead and head to the next beach destination, which is Rialto Beach. And what this place is known for is what's called the hole in the wall. And I want to say is, like, unfortunately the tide is already pretty high, so we can't really make our way up towards the hole in the wall itself. But you can definitely see it from the footage in my video from my drone feed. And I do want to say that, you know, getting here from the parking lot all the way up to the area where they have the hole in the wall takes about half an hour, primarily due to the fact that the terrain that you're walking on is very sandy, very rocky. It's kind of challenging. It's a lot of work just to get here, but it's definitely well worth it. And, you know, one thing I did notice is that people do come here to set up tents, day tents, set up hammocks, and just relax. Like, it's about 2 hours before we hit sunset, and just something about the sound of the ocean waves just crashing on the beach. It's very soothing, if you know what I mean. Just sit here with your loved one, your family, and just really enjoy. Like, got the beach chair, just sit back and relax. All right, everybody, so that's basically it for our Olympic National Park weekend trip. And I do want to mention that you want to spend at least 3 to 4 days of just actually exploring the area, because there are a lot of things you can actually do around here. For us, for example, we only came up Friday and we only had 1 day, which is Saturday, to really explore, just kind of get as much things as we can done before we head back to Seattle on Sunday. And I want to mention that we ended up staying at a campground called Klahowya Campground, which is basically about 10-15 minutes from Crescent Lake, just west of Crescent Lake. And the one nice thing about this place is that you can basically come here first come first serve campground without having a reservation. And so if you guys haven't made your reservation for campgrounds yet, definitely come by and check out the Klahowya Campground. And again, we're actually really close to the river. If you see behind me, there's a nice little small riverbank. I think it's part of the Suldak River. And from our campground, it's basically a 20 feet walk to get to this spot. And really nice places, cool off. If you have a little floaty device, just come hang out and wade in the river. And again, as far as the other things you guys can do at the Olympic National Park that we haven't done in our video is check out places like hiking. One of the places that I really want to go to, but unfortunately wasn't able to go to, is called Mount Storm King. And if you go ahead and look at the All Trails website, the Mount Storm King is only about a 4-mile hike. And I think the elevation gain, I'll have to double check, but it's about 1,500 feet. So a little bit challenging, but it's easily doable for most moderate, we'll say average hikers. But there are other places that you guys can check out, such as Marymore Falls, and of course the Hurricane Ridge trail as well, which is I think located more towards the east part of the Olympic National Parks. But other than that, we'll go ahead and set up the rest of our equipment, pack it up home. And I do recommend, if you guys haven't seen my video on swim, like what to do in a day in swim, definitely go ahead and check that out, because there are a couple places you could do as far as like where to eat, where to get coffee, and if you have some time, spend the day at swim. So, all right guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.